Yo, what is up, guys? So today we're doing another trade recap, basically a weekly crap at this point. Kind of been lacking with these, but nonetheless, let's get into it. Another thing I'm probably gonna do is start making these in Dutch. I don't know, I'm Dutch myself, and personally, I've not made such a big audience yet that I can, for certain, like say, okay, I'm entitled to be making these in English because my audience is English. If you're English, I'm sorry, but I'm probably gonna be switching to Dutch. So if you're not Dutch, I'm sorry. And yeah, probably gonna be switching to Dutch in the next video. So this is gonna be the last video for me in English. Um, so yeah, let's get into the week's recap. So as you guys can see, Monday was the Edge of Doom. Tuesday I didn't trade. Wednesday I took a win. Thursday I lost, and Friday I didn't trade, making our total P&L for this month almost break even. What I did do was take a payout after this trade, so I took a payout on 25th of Wednesday, 25th of March on Wednesday. So I had to take a payout. The trade I took on Wednesday was this trade right here. So why I took this trade is because basically I did see we were kind of like consolidating. I had both upside and downside potential. So what I wanted to see was probably for upside, I wanted to actually for the downside, I'm sorry, I wanted us to see take out these lows right here. And for the upside, obviously we had these highs up here that we could have taken out. So the reason why I went for the downside is because this gap got held the first like 30 minutes, 50 minutes, and on New York Open, same for these 50-minute and 30-minute gaps, we start holding them. We failed to move higher. I think this is the New York Open. This New York Open sweeps all the way higher. We've eventually failed to sweep out this high. We start moving lower. What do we see? That 10 a.m. candle closed really bearish. As you guys can see, this is the 10 a.m. candle. Looks pretty bad, but on the 1 hour looked pretty nice, which was this candle right here. That candle closed pretty bearish for me, inversing this gap right here. And from that point on out, I wanted to take a continuation, like a retracement like this, down towards these lows. And so yeah, that's basically the trade that I took. Eventually, yeah, and I took it from like the 2 minute, I'm pretty sure. Bro, why is this? Why do I have to scroll all the way back? This is cooked. So yeah, took it from the 2 minutes to 665 level, probably 1 to 2 RR. And yeah, that's basically the trade, targeting those lows right here. And yeah, we did almost get stopped out. Low key, this was looking really bad, but eventually we came through, and yeah, we clutched up. Actually, no, we didn't clutch up. Price clutched up, I guess. Price eventually did what we wanted, but looked really dark. Yeah, overall, looking back on it, was a good trade. I would say yeah, yes. Why? Is because I had a good draw. We had a higher time frame for value gap reaction that I want to see. Very good structure. Technically, on like the 1 hour inversion, we also had on a 1 hour, and we had to draw with a pretty obvious draw and like just good continuation. Sadly, didn't play out as perfectly as you want to see, but it still played out, so nothing to complain. For Thursday, I took a loss, bro. This loss is pretty embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. Why? It's because I took a long, and there's really not a reason for me to be longing in like such downtrend, except if I want to be taking a retracement towards like a PD array or imbalance, or yeah, just to be taking a retracement. So what I basically did wrong this day was that technically the long was still kind of valid until my point of interest was reached already. So when I started looking for longs was when this candle got created, right? This hammer candle got created. We respect this gap right there, and we just start moving higher. But what I failed to see is that I kind of got lost in the sauce and just started neglecting what the time frame was doing. And when I saw this setup, right, this long with this candle, okay, we were going really bullish. Where can we go to? We can potentially go towards these highs up here, maybe the high up there, and these imbalances with them. But the annoying thing is that the first point of interest where I could be looking for bearish is this imbalance right here. So technically this should have been my draw, which also was my draw, but because I kind of got like I kind of got, how do I say this, saturated in a sense. So what I mean by that is that at this point I was already like an hour on the chart, and I was kind of oozing off, like fading off, and my attention span was kind of going down in a sense. So what I'm trying to say is that, okay, I didn't know we had a draw up here. Eventually hit it, but I didn't like, I knew we hit it, but in my consciousness I didn't realize, okay, we hit it, we could start seeing some downside potential, and I should only be trading towards that draw. If I want to be taken higher from here, I should probably be taking something like this from that point on out. Like, we should reverse this, then I retrace probably, and then entry right there to maybe get up to here. So if I wanted to take a trade higher than this, that's what I should have seen happening. I should have noticed, but I didn't notice that. So yeah, that's shame on me. But eventually, what could have then been the play out for this? How do I say this? How could have this played out then? If, for example, this if this candle actually retraced in here already. So what I was doing now is, because I'm technically saying, okay, we have these equal lows right here. What I'm saying is I have those equal lows right there, relative equal lows, and that, how do I say this? I'm basically taking the second retracement because it already happened. The retracement, we retraced 50%, and that's sufficient. And so basically, and we already broke out of that OTE zone. So technically, we already played out the trade, and I should have not looked really at taking the trade even more. So yeah, that's just really bad trade. And that's basically the two trades I took, further than the Monday trade, which I already discussed. Friday I didn't take a trade, but there would have been a trade possibility. That would have been this trade right here. Coming off in the market, I was still looking for this higher OTE. Why? Is because I didn't want to take that. I did not want to take this OTE yet, especially with market open. I don't like to trade that kind. Like, I do sometimes take those trades, but why I didn't like to take it right now is because it's not worth it for me to get manipulated out just in, like, I don't know, a minute, then waiting a bit longer for a better, clear setup. There's like more probability and like less chance for me to get manipulated out. So basically, why I didn't take this trade is actually, yeah, you can see every level got hit, and there's literally no reason for me not to get into trade. But the reason why I didn't take the trade is because I kinda, how do I say this? I kinda put, like, this OTE has like 0.618, 0.665, 0.71, 0.79. But how do I differentiate, for example, 0.71 from 0.79, and how do I like prioritize certain levels above different ones, right? So the way I do it is looking on the time frames and checking if some levels align with that encroachment of the fair value gap, like basically the 15%. And if that aligns, I'm basically prioritizing that level above other levels. So in this case, you can see we don't have that. So then what I look for, I almost never trade 0.618. It's just my thing. I don't like it. And if you do trade it, and it works for you, good for you. But I just like it, and that's just my thing. I'm not gonna say, okay, it's bad, but I don't like it. So yeah. So I know I almost never take 0.618. So, and what do I do then? If the 0.665 is within the imbalance, so within this imbalance, and before the encroachment, then I would take 0.665. If 0.665 would be outside the imbalance, so for example, like this, and the encroachment would have been before that, so like this, then I would take the encroachment from the fair value gap. And if nothing of that, like, and if eventually the encroachment is just above everything and 0.71 is in the imbalance except for 0.65, I will be taking 0.71. And so with that, I'm basically prioritizing the levels. Number one is like a level with a encroachment, then 0.65, 665, then maybe the CA or the 0.71, just depending on how it aligns. So with that, I have like a pretty static way of trading and looking on what works the best and what's the most probability to get hit. And then you could be saying, okay, why didn't you take a trade on this? The reason why I didn't take a trade on this is because I don't really want to be taking the second retracement. What I mean by that is that basically I see price as the most efficient way, right? I want to be, if I'm taking a trade, I already go from the fact that price is moving the most efficient way that it could possibly move, right? So eventually we do get this candle up in here. This respects this right here and taps into that reverse gap. From that fact, I'm basically already saying, okay, I probably missed my entry. Why? It's because I was basically I'll go on into that, but already I was looking. I didn't look for 665, but a higher level. I'll also go into why I was looking at higher level, but I basically missed my trade already. Why? Is because it didn't hit. It was around 0.71, but yeah, I already hit that level, so I couldn't take that trade anymore. Why? It's because you really want to see this deliver already from these two candles, especially if you get a candle printed like this, then you want to see it deliver already, and you don't really want to see it move back up to where you entered, and then potentially fill the gap higher. It just makes the trade less. I wouldn't say less probability if it closes well, but if you haven't entered yet, and you know it's gonna move like that to give you an entry, then you just know it's less probability. If you're already in the trade, then yeah, you just have to let it play out. But if you have not been in the trade yet and you have the probability to see and check if it's gonna move like that, then yeah,